You want to hear it in first? It's very tall geared. Does that sound nice to you? So this morning I went down to see Bruce and Sean at Buchanan Automotive to show them this car. A car I bought at auction not so long ago, haven't driven much yet, and it's a 1981 3-speed automatic 928S, the 4.7 300 horsepower motor. I was a little concerned. I didn't know what they'd think of it. It's had the heads off recently, it's only just been rebuilt, and yes, it presents very well, but I wanted them to see it. So let's wind the clock back to early this morning in the rain and see what they think. Right, good morning everybody. And it's wet. And we're in Pasha today. This is a car you haven't seen before, and this is about the second time that I've driven it. Thankfully it's got brand new Yokohamas on it, because a couple of weeks ago I drove the other car, the one I drove up from Melbourne in the dry to Bruce's place for a bit of a check over, and we had the original tyres on it. And they were hilarious. We had rear tyres that dated from 2001, over 20 years old, and front tyres that were 9 years old. And the grip levels were astonishingly bad. They were worse than Lando Norris in the rain in Sochi.
Here to turn 10, lots of cars going off.
Yeah, shut up!
But this one I have a bit more confidence in. And today we're just going to Bruce to have a little bit of a check over and see what he thinks of it. Can you see what a nice place this is? Cruising along in your 928, even though it's an automatic. You know, I can understand why so many people bought them. We are sports car fans, GT car fans, but in this car it just suits it, and it keeps the revs really low where it's nice and deep in the exhaust. So this is a V8 that makes its torque up top at about from 4,000 revs up. That's where maximum torque is, 4,300. So here we are, we're in drive at just over 1,000 revs, nothing. Pull it back to second, it's still only doing 1,700, 1,800 revs. But if I floor it, you'd actually kick back to first gear at about 80 k's an hour. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Floor it. There's maximum torque. So it only's getting maximum torque in first gear at around 70, 80 k's an hour. So here we are, almost there. The sun's come out. How do you like my Pasha interior? It's nice, isn't it? You know, when it first came out, we all regaled in horror and went, look, what have they done with that fabric? But it was very reminiscent of the times, late 1970s. I was a teenager. We had flared jeans and tie-dyed t-shirts and pretty bad haircuts. So it kind of fits the era. And now it's come back again, hasn't it? Pasha's very popular. It's always exciting when you go to Bruce and Sean. The arriving bit's good. Leaving later on with the invoice, that's not as much fun, but anyway. Hello, Brucey. Look what I brought you.
It just looked fantastic.
I'm glad you like it.
Oh,
That's why I come with the enthusiasm.
you gotta love the Pasha. It's just great. Year model 80.
81.
Oh, 81. Okay. Just running strangely.
And the idle was way too high.
Yeah, it still is.
It's still too high.
Yeah.
Hellblower Metallic's a nice colour, isn't it?
It's lovely.
Has the car been painted?
I think so. Would have to be.
Another one.
Yeah.
Lovely. And you're saying this was an auction car?
Yeah, this was a Lloyd's auction car. It came up twice. The first time it passed in, the second time he was obviously keen, came back 2 months later.
Yep.
And I bid mid-20s, and yeah, he relented in the end.
Winner.
Yeah, I got it. I like it for the same reasons that you initially like it. It's really hard to find a really good interior, and it's just so nice.
Yeah, that is really cool. Have you got enough now?
More than enough. Too many. People keep popping up on YouTube going, I found another one for you. First impressions of the engine.
It just looks fantastic.
Yeah. I bought it at auction, as you know.
Oh,
Leather.
I didn't see it. Original leather belt.
Yep.
Tell you what, it's in good nick for it.
For a 42-year-old car.
Yeah. Really tidy.
I don't think that engine bay's seen any use at all since it was rebuilt.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think he did the head separately. He did one and then had a problem and then did the other one.
Right. So has the engine been out of the car? Or
Not
just in
no,
the car?
just the heads, cam boxes. So
She's a little lumpy, isn't it? I wonder if it's got. You know, we've seen a few with the American cams in the in the left bank.
I think the same thing myself.
oh yeah, because of the slight lumpiness. Yeah.
And they're just not even, and they can do the same thing. We can check that by doing a compression check. If this bank and that bank are out, then you know there's something funky going on this one.
Yep.
Good evening. Well, I actually recognise one of our host clamps, too.
Yes.
That's where anyone's
There's something else of yours in there that you'll recognise if you have a look.
Oh, the fuel tank. The PWI tank.
Yes. Fitted by you.
Yeah. Looks really good. I'm just puzzled why you wouldn't do it in... You can only spend all that money on the... Let's call it leatherette or vinyl.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you do it in leather? Like, just weird. And you've done it, and they've been put together very, very well. They've got the pleating correct. I mean, someone's gone to a lot of trouble. Beautifully done. I mean, very nicely done.
Nice.
Yeah.
I told you last time I had those 20-year-old tyres on the other car.
Changed them.
As soon as I got home. But these ones are also new. I put these on Flevers, and they're reasonable.
Very nice. You rate them? The Yokohamas?
Hardly driven them, so I can't comment. I'd like to say, yeah, they're great, they're fantastic, but the truth is I haven't driven on them much.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know.
That's a big, big pothole.
Oh dear.
Massive.
Oh yeah, look, we got a little...
See that?
Yes.
Now that's really interesting, because I can't remember last time I've seen a Fuchs wheel with even a slight imperfection. The quality is so high, meaning the strength, that's what I'm getting at.
You don't drive on Sydney roads?
All the time. Never had a bent rim in my life. It can only be low. I've never had a bent wheel on any of my cars in my life.
Well, I've got one on mine.
But I don't have anything other than, you know, proper size wheels. Right.
Yeah. Oh yes, you don't run 20 inches on yours? And
The biggest I've got is a Fuchs on my 968, which are Fuchs.
yes.
Yeah. Genuine Fuchs, Germany, right?
17s?
17. That's, to me, that's ultra low price.
That's huge.
What?
Bring back the 15s.
Oh, no. Hey, 13s.
Oh yeah.
XU1
Or, beat you. Mini Cooper S, 10s.
10s.
Okay.
If we look up there, you can see the little bit of rust and some
yeah.
weld marks on the...
Oh yeah. It's been hit in the back.
Yeah, it's been hit in the back.
Yep.
But, I mean, really, which one hasn't been hit in the back?
Yep.
All of them. Yeah. Just took the cover off the fuel pump. You've still got a pre-pump in there,
Yeah.
which you want to get rid of that. That won't be working at all. And you can see it's just leaking a little bit of fuel. So that's probably not coming from the pump itself. It's probably coming from one of these connections just here. And what happens with these is that they have a filter on it as well, but the pump sits on the back and there's a little hose. That hose disintegrates and just falls on.
Yep.
And the filter disappears.
And
And
then
then all the crap from the tank goes straight in.
And then your main fuel pump fails as well.
Yep,
Because it's
exactly.
got plastic bits of shit in it. Yep.
So we always get rid of them. Piss them off.
Quite a good old pre-filter.
Oh, yeah.
I just kept this as an example. You see how rusty it is.
Yep.
The staining. And this is actually still together. Normally, this little bit of hose here normally splits in two because it's not reinforced inside. Like, it's a really bad piece of kit. When you go through corners,
Yep.
right?
Flex,
Flex.
brake.
When it breaks, all the unfiltered anything, you know, from whatever's in the tank. And if you're unlucky enough to have a little tiny, like a little bit of cotton, like just a strand. We've had quite a few of them. They seize the main pump because they've got high-speed rollers. It just seizes. By comparison, we've been using these for 25 years or so.
There we go.
From
Simple.
Porsche, 928 part number, and look at the difference.
Yeah, really simple. Over-engineered these cars were.
Look at the difference in the pre-filter. So, surface area.
And it works.
Oh, probably about 30 odd years. Yeah.
There we go. There's your answer, people. Get one of these, chuck that in the bin. You can tell it's a pre-pump because it's got electrical connectors to it. Righto, what do you got to show me, Sean?
Just up the front.
Yep. AC compressor.
Yeah, it's a little bit insecure, isn't it?
Oh my God.
It is leaking anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's
I haven't even tried the AC. I'm sure it doesn't work.
it's kaput.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. So something's up with that top bolt up there. It's got a small M8 in there. It's usually an M10.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what's going on.
But it's an original compressor, though.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean it's any good.
No, it doesn't.
means it probably doesn't work.
Yeah.
Are these control arms the alley type, or are they the latest?
The steel,
You mean
the ball joints?
Yeah.
They've been replaced.
They've been replaced with the steel ones.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, look at the lips on the disc. I just noticed that.
Yeah.
We'll fill the lip there.
Yeah, that's actually, it looks worse than it is. Come on, that's not a bad lip. What's this relay?
Someone's doing a starter relay mod here, and they've used a really, what is it? Looks like a little cheap. It's a little cheap Chinese relay.
Okay.
So what they're doing is, the principle's good, it's just that mounting is a bit,
it's a bit
funky.
dicky. Nothing wrong with the cable tie.
So the idea is,
Yep.
as you can imagine, with an automatic, you'll have an inhibitor switch on the transmission.
Yep.
Okay. As the cars get older, you'll start getting voltage drops. Well, it goes fuse board relay, ignition switch, fuse board relay, in the wiring loom, all the way back to the automatic, if you get my drift. You've got to go through it, then all the way back. So the end result is you'll get voltage drops.
Yes.
And the solenoid on the starter motor needs
a bit of help.
It just needs a little bit more voltage.
Yep.
It doesn't like getting 7 volts.
Yep. No, I get it.
So
no, it's a reasonable mod.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. What I normally do, if I'm going to do this on one of the older 98s, we'll make up a little heat shield just here out of aluminium, and I mount the Bosch relay, proper relay, up inside the heat shield, so that if any water cascades down from the top, well, it can't get wet. It just cascades over the top.
Yep.
It doesn't take long to make, but doing that with a bloody zip tie around the wires, I mean, good lord.
I've seen worse. And it's actually reasonably dry here.
Yes, it's quite good. I mean, apart from the old sump gasket has been over-tightened, as you can see.
Yeah.
Which is very common.
Didn't know what to expect here, but...
No, it's really good.
And how about the loom? Is it looking...
Old. Yeah, it's probably going to catch on fire in the next 10 minutes. As long as we can...
Probably going to catch on fire in the next 10 minutes.
Don't listen to him. As long as we can drive it out of here, everything's fine. Yeah.
If you haven't looked up hyperbole in the dictionary, just look up hyperbole, and there's a walking hyperbole.
Yeah, but when you close it at night time or afternoon, or overnight, for the meantime, with such an old harness, 12-volt harness, it's got battery cabling inside of it, there's no fuses.
No.
Disconnect the battery. Only the negative lead.
But then you've got to retune your radio every time and set your clock.
Better than the thing burning to the ground with the house with it.
No, it's a point.
It's a point. Mind you, it doesn't bother me, because every Porsche I own, and they're all last century, if I got them at home or at work here, they're always sitting overnight with the battery disconnected.
What do you watch?
I mean, realistically, besides your compressor about to fall off.
Yep.
Someone's put a newish...
correct alternator, which is nice.
Yep. Correct alternator?
Yeah, you got some oil leaks here. So someone's remade the engine oil hoses, but it's actually leaking from the ferrule, so it's coming out of there. Looks pretty nice and original. Original lines going to the radiator.
Oh, and by the way, being a pre-83, or let's say pre-84, what we do when we put a radiator in these, in any of them, I don't want any heat exchangers, right? I don't want the phone call even 10 years later. I've got water in my automatic. Oh my God, you put a radiator in 10 years ago. Not me. We make alloy brackets and we mount a standalone automatic transmission or cooler in front of the radiator.
So you don't have this one anymore.
No.
That's the problem there.
It'll have new hoses going to the standalone.
And that's because the membrane between the water section and the oil section on the heat exchanger between them eventually...
It's not membrane, it's just a little bit of tubing.
Okay.
It's just a bit of tubing. It's really thin wall.
Okay. And over time, as it does, it just pinhole, and then you've got...
Fails.
And then the first you're driving along and your automatic transmission feels a bit funny. The gear changes to, that's funny, why the and then the next thing the engine's running a little bit hot and you go, and then it all just comes to a grinding halt.
Well, the temperature won't be affected that much because the coolant is going into the automatic, not the other way around.
Okay.
And remember, the clutch packs on all automatic transmissions, so we're talking the friction material, where it's bonded to the steel material, meaning, I'll show it.
Is water soluble.
It is water soluble.
There we go.
Yep, so it ruins the automatics.
Okay, so you wouldn't think that your radiator has a problem, and the first thing you know is your transmission, your gears are slipping.
Yeah, because we've had quite a few 98 S's and S4s even, where they had intermix. That's automatic intermix, meaning coolant in the automatic. So intermix with the automatic is the most serious because it's the most expensive when it goes wrong. It'll even damage the oil pump in the transmission. Now, this is very pertinent. With a 3-speed Mercedes Auto, these go right back to the 60s and 70s. Parts for these are getting hard to get from Mercedes or anyone because of the sheer age.
And do you want to check the flex plate?
Yeah. Do you want to check the flex plate?
Well, what would I know?
It's your car. Now remember, being an automatic 3-speed.
Yes.
This is the only transmission that has the solid shaft coming out of the transmission.
Yep.
Meaning in front of the torque converter.
Oh, yeah.
meeting the torque tube. 2 solid shafts. The only one.
So you're saying it's less susceptible to
Well,
the
it's got the
problems?
sliding sleeve
Yep.
with the 2 bolts. In fact, that same sliding sleeve is used on the 944 manuals, 944 turbos.
Okay.
They don't give an issue because we're clamping 2 solid shafts together with a sliding sleeve. It's a far, far stronger setup.
Okay. And that's for the up to 83, was it?
Up to and including 83, but automatic only.
Okay.
All the manuals had that slightly notorious shaft coming out of a transmission. This is the input shaft, so we're talking manual here. That's hollow, and not just hollow, but to make it clamp, it's going to be cut in 3 places.
Rightio. So I like talking to you, Sean, because you're nice and concise, whereas
really?
Bruce talks very giving of his time and information.
That's right.
That's the amazing thing about him. If you want to know something, you ring him up, and an hour later you go, I've got to get off the phone, I've got to go.
And you don't remember what you asked him in the first place?
How do you actually do any work when people ring up and you're chatting, talk?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So here we have the bell housing on. So you
Yes.
look up there.
Yep.
And as Bruce was saying, we don't really have the problems with the 3 speeds, unlike the 4 speeds. So what we're going to do now is we're going to loosen the pinch bolt just there, and we're going to check for any movement in that flex plate. You can see, I can see it's got a little bit of deflection on it. So
Okay. We've covered this on another video, so make sure you see the other one on oils and the torque tube bearing, but we're just going to loosen this and see if there's any movement. Oh, hold on. Okay.
You ready?
Ready? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that went back a huge amount.
There we go. So it does have its original bolt in here as well.
Oh, yeah, because it's the orange.
Yep, the red paint.
The red paint? Okay.
There you go.
So that bolt, they need to be changed.
Well, of course you do. It's just a bolt. That's been there since what? 19...
What's that going to cost me? $20?
no, less than that.
Outrageous.
What was it, 80 or
I can't afford $20 just for a bolt. Okay.
So that means we're going to have to go back here, which we're going to do anyway,
Yep.
and check the tightness of those recoupling bolts. But remember, we've got a sliding sleeve with 2 bolts. Okay. Genuine Porsche, manufactured in 21. They're still making this stuff.
Oh, good.
Isn't that lovely?
New bolts.
Oh yeah, always new. So it gets 3, obviously 2 at the back, 1 at the front.
So even though it's a more reliable system, it still can move before that one's...
You can just see that. But again, how long does it take? Could have taken decades. But
So that was pushing the flex plate forward,
that's right.
and that can worst case scenario, it wears out the block and then the engine's a throwaway.
Well, the 4.7s do have smaller thrust bearings compared to the 511s.
Yep.
So the surface area of the thrust bearing itself is actually a little bit shorter. They're actually the 944 ones.
Yep.
If you just had that constant little push, it's only small. And if you use an engine oil, which is trying to keep the 2 metal surfaces away from each other, if it's got low oil film strength, you're just going to, you will cause issues for yourself.
Yep. Got it. Just one of those classic 9 to 8 things where if you know to check it, you can prevent a whole lot of trouble later on, like the camshaft bolts and timing.
Well, like the camshaft bolts, none of this popped up even in last century, because we didn't have these sort of issues last century. 2 reasons come into play. A, the cars weren't that old. I mean, okay, they might have been 10, 15 years old, but also we weren't using silly thin oils in them either.
Oh, yeah. What's the right oil to put in the car? Read the manual. Use a high zinc oil as per the original factory manual.
And the viscosity he mentioned?
I'm guessing it was 20W50. Yep.
Why? Because it's from last century.
Yeah, because it was designed for the car.
Well, it gives you the highest oil film strength.
I think low zinc oils are a woke conspiracy.
No, it's just they're there to meet emissions protocols, emission protocols.
Yep.
If it says that, well, there's nothing you can do as a manufacturer. There's nothing you can do about it.
No. Bruce gave us the specs here. The specs there.
There we go.
Which are 0.110 to 0.312 mil, with a limit at 0.4.
So we'll set this at 0 right there.
Yep.
And we'll leave her on that and just see where she sits. So it's sitting at 0.155.
Fantastic.
Look at that.
Right bang in the middle of the range.
Not an issue. Everything's fine.
Yay. Huzzah! The car lives another day. This car's looking better than I hoped. I mean, you buy them at auction, it's a bit of an unknown, but so far, apart from the AC that doesn't work, but we'll get onto that.
Yeah, and you've got 2. So you've got 1 here
Yep.
and 1 here.
So it's funny, they had a good design for the first 3 or 4 years, and then they changed to a less good design. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back a little bit. Keep going. Keep going.
There's the bolt up there.
That's it. we're going to take that one out and the other one as well, and we'll replace them. Yeah, the auto's been out of the car before, and the reason is because usually I can get to the back bolt through this way, but the sliding sleeve's been put in the other way. Well, it makes no difference, but I just got to take off this bracket just here just to get the bolt out.
Okay.
And we can see with
again.
customers 9 to 8s that don't hammer their cars and just potter around everywhere. They don't get this sort of movement in the flex plates.
This turbo's very nice.
It is good, isn't it?
Yes.
I think that's not sound.
Yep. When you got your hands on it, this was all white with mould.
The whole interior.
There'll be plenty of content about my new 928, known as Basket Case at the moment. That's its name.
Basket case?
Yeah, this one's called Pasha.
Oh, nice.
I think that's a good name. I mean, it's not the only Pasha car, but it's a good name for it.
It's certainly one of your better ones. You know, originality is key with this one, so... Nice paint, nice interior. Mechanics look good. Head gaskets have been changed, so that's great.
Timing belt's new.
Yep.
That would explain why that wheel was bent, because that would have probably broken the ball joint in the accident.
Okay, so that's a steel.
That's a steel one.
Later model one. But on this side,
It's the old original 1980-81 alloy joint.
should that be changed?
What a question.
Why was that a funny question? It seemed like a reasonable question to me.
Aluminium ball joint more than 2 years old, yes.
But it's
Yeah.
not.
No,
It
it's
needs
not.
to be
It's
changed.
got to be changed. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so drive it carefully.
But it's up to the owners. Right? You can lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink. Right? It's up to the owner. Now, it wasn't whatever bent that wheel slightly wasn't too horrendous. It's still got the original control arm.
Actually, what am I saying? I put these wheels on this car. They're off another car.
Oh, they're really?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, sorry.
That's what.
I'm being stupid here.
So here I'm trying to figure out.
Why this is not damaged, but this was.
Yeah. And then I'm seeing damage here with the backing plate.
No, these wheels are off my champagne car.
Which one's that? Manual
The
auto?
84 4-speed auto.
Okay.
Overall, Sean, it's nice, isn't it?
I'm very impressed with this car. I like this car. Pretty colour, great interior. A lot of mechanicals have been done. It's not leaking too much.
Do you want to drive it to see what it drives like?
No, not
Okay.
really. I will, absolutely.
What can we see? An engine.
Yeah.
Isn't that tidy?
It still looks nice.
Look how nice that K-Jet looks.
Did it get
beautiful.
tidied up at
Yeah,
auction?
yes.
Or, yeah, okay.
By the oh no, not by the auction house.
Okay.
Shannon's do.
Yeah.
Lloyd's don't. They just whatever you give them.
No, they'll put it up.
With it, complete with the lolly wrappers on the floor and everything, you know. But this is how it was presented. Missing a couple.
Yeah, might.
Put back in a couple of little.
Shroud bolts.
Yep. Doesn't that feel good?
Nice.
Because the level will shrink
Yep.
in the sun, and it'll start, pulling things and distorting.
You're impressed with the dash.
Oh, extremely so. For the age, and it is original. You can even tell by the pod, which is, it's not leather, but there's no real cracks in that. In fact, there's nothing. So it truly was a garage car for a long, long part of its life. Quite remarkable.
I'm pleased you like it, Bruce.
Oh, I do love seeing original leather.
So Campbell.
Yeah, so this little bolt just here, the cam bolt,
Yep.
surprising, was about a quarter turn too loose.
Wow. I'm glad I asked you to check it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting too, because it's got the early steel gears, which is only on the very early cars. And it shows you even that. I can't get over why it's loose, because having a steel gear, normally they don't crush.
It's been rebuilt recently, but we don't know by whom.
Yeah, and we don't know how they did it up.
Yeah. Okay, but it's a good thing to check. Just
very
that
good.
simple bolt there. It's an easy thing. 5 minutes for someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and if they get too loose, the cam gear will chatter on the keyway and
then
end
just snap.
up snapping the
Yeah.
Because the
camshaft.
camshaft in there is hollow. It's only cast, so it snaps off really quickly.
Yep. Well done.
So we're going to take the other cover off and check this one as well. No, that one's tight.
Okay.
So it's just the one that was loose.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That sort of fits in with the one was done at different times.
Yeah.
If you keep everything tight, you don't have an issue. That's
what you got to do.
That's what it comes down
And
to.
it's not hard, is it?
No,
it's
no.
it's
Simple.
a
It's
bolt.
just- but if you don't have that knowledge, you can't
Yeah.
check anything
yeah.
because you don't know to check it.
Oh, that's pretty black.
It is black, isn't it?
That shouldn't be the case.
No.
When it's only done a couple of thousand Ks since
No,
it was
exactly. Yeah.
refurbed. You want to do an oil change?
Might not be a bad idea. Yeah.
I'm happy to pay you an exorbitant amount for you to change my oil.
Excellent.
Make sure I want the latest 0W15 super synthetic, high fluting, $200 a litre.
Look, I might put some methylated spirits in it.
Don't do that.
How about 020 so you have no oil pressure at all?
Yeah, 0W20.
That'd be great.
So next time it gets hot, sitting at a traffic light, and I go, how come it's showing 0
It
bar?
doesn't need to be hot, just mildly warm. You have no oil pressure.
Save the planet. Remember, you don't put fresh oil in your engine till all the old oil is used up.
We wait for it all burns away. Well, I don't know what to make of it.
Maybe to save money, you put after you wheel the engine, put the old oil back in.
I don't know. The fuel hoses on the side of the engine are original, which is strange.
It's dangerous.
But that's strange because if they had the heads off it, it means access to those fuel hoses are really easy. It's more difficult now, but it's just none of it makes any sense.
You're confused. It's an enigma hiding inside a paradox, inside a dichotomy, isn't it?
I don't know any of those words mean.
But if you've got heads off, well, it gives you access to other stuff more easily. So you just, especially fuel hoses, you just do it without even thinking twice about it.
So look, I think the moral of the story is pretty clear, and we know this already. If you've got a 928 and you've just bought one, no matter how good it looks or where it's come from or what take it to a 928 specialist, not just a 911 specialist, but to a 98. It doesn't have to be to these guys, but someone that knows 928s and get these basic things checked out. Timing belt, camshaft bolts, torque tube, flex plate, and oil condition. They're just the basics. Is that right, Sean?
That's right. Just a good look over.
Dun da da da. Oh.
That's a bit dark.
Yeah, it's a bit dark, isn't it?
Good thing you're changing it.
No, it looks okay. Put it back in.
Yeah. Nothing on the drain plug. Looks fine.
Good.
Yep.
Steel. Good. Early model aluminium. Not so good.
Oh, that is one tight oil filter.
It's only meant to be like...
Just nipped up's fine.
Yeah, 20 foot-pounds.
Yep.
And that's like 150. Valvoline.
You know what I mean.
Well, it's actually Golf, actually.
Golf Classic 20W50.
It is.
20W50. Don't argue. This is not a topic of discussion.
I don't care if you argue. I couldn't care less.
You do care.
No, I don't.
You say you don't care, but I know you
Yeah,
care.
but it gives me a giggle. I find it really amusing.
Does he care?
He might care a little bit.
Do you care?
No.
Because I know it works.
We do.
Uh,
How about that,
It sounds better. He's dropped the idle down
A
again.
little bit, yeah. Was it too high when he came in?
Yeah, it was really high. Even though it had been set a week ago, the car's continuing to free up and revving higher. Seven and a half litres or thereabouts.
I've put in about 8 at the moment. And it's still just on the minimum.
You came out of school, and the next day you started working with your
I
dad.
did, yeah. Didn't know what I wanted to do, and then I just never left.
And how long ago was that?
That was November 2000.
My God.
Yeah, 23 years.
It's 23 years already
Yep.
working on these cars.
Yeah.
Combined with your dad's 40 years experience.
It's crazy, isn't it? How
Yeah.
time flies.
And you still like them.
Yeah.
They're probably not the cheapest place around, but you know you're going to get the job done properly, and that's why people go there. Isn't that right?
We know these cars, you know.
You do. Hey, I hadn't even noticed.
What?
No sunroof. If somebody had asked me this
Look how
morning
much
and said,
room there
does your blue car have a sunroof? I'd go, I don't know.
Really?
I'd forgotten that it doesn't have one. So away you go, and just go waiting for something to happen. Gearbox is not bad, is it? The change?
It's actually pretty good, yeah. I almost thought before that the you didn't have vacuum to the modulator valve because it changed quite abruptly to start with.
Yep.
But no, it's fine.
Do the windows work? Seeing as we haven't got a fan and air conditioning,
Yeah, it's getting a bit
we're
hot.
gonna need the windows.
It is humid today, isn't it?
I did take it just one run at 60, 70, 80k an hour corners, and I was sweeping along there. I had to hold it in the second, of course, because even then it's hardly revving.
Yeah.
And it was too slow for second gear, even though I'm moving along. It wasn't on the cam. And I thought,
imagine one of these with a 6-speed in it, you know, like a modern 6-speed.
or imagine one
what
with,
a
with an
difference,
electric
right?
motor in it.
Oh, there you go.
Geez, I'm going to piss some people off. That's idling beautifully now.
This is quite lumpy for this motor though. These usually just sit and just don't move.
There's always a chance it's had mismatched camshafts because the torque was different on the cams.
Yeah. And that could have been a reason why the other side was done. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's done all legs on one side and the camshaft broke on the other.
What I'm saying is, when the lower viscosity or lower vis oils came out, it's going to flow on to people with advertising that, oh my God, this is the latest and greatest, I've got to use in my old car. And of course people tried it.
And it didn't really work.
No, it didn't.
No.
First thing is disbelief. Okay. I even had repairers ringing me here. Oh, what are you using? Oh, what do you mean, what am I using? I've never changed. Oh, all right. So what have you changed? Oh, we've just changed to
Something.
And I've gone, how did it go? Well, it can't be that. This is the reply.
Yeah.
I said, well, hang on, I'm not ringing you, you're ringing me.
Yeah. It's disbelief followed by denial.
Yeah, it was really, I found it, I got a giggle out of it because I'm going, well, hang on a minute, let's get to the basics. You've rung me, you've got a problem. Yes. We've just gone through those problems and I know it's oil related. Is it? Well, you wouldn't be ringing me if it wasn't. But you are ringing me to find out, am I having the same problems? Well, the answer is no, we're not. So hence, what's the common denominator? You've changed from something that you didn't have problems, now you do. So what do you think's happening? I know what brand you're using. Not going to mention brands here.
Yep.
And I know what viscosity you're using. And now you've got a problem. And I had one repairer, lovely guy, lovely family. Each one of the family rang me about the same problem.
They wanted a different answer.
They told me that the oil rep from that company said it simply can't be.
Yep.
So it can't be, but I'm ringing you anyway.
Because it is.
It was just so amusing. You know, not on this century cars, I'm talking last century cars. When they switch back, everything's fine. But what I'm saying is they still have to pick up the pieces of the camshafts, excessive valve guide where the valve guides are just chopped out. Well, it had to be the fault of the valve guides. And then when they had the top ends apart, then they realised, oh God, I've got some bluing of the rocker shafts. And like, oh, there's more than just valve guides. Oh, shit. Tell me it's not the oil. Well, if you don't want me to tell you, don't ring me.
And they go, Bruce, nice guy, knows a lot of stuff, but don't get him talking about oils because he's a bit of a crazy guy.
Well, the thing is, we didn't have any wear problems, and we still don't. I just want to help them fix the problem.
Yep.
But in the back of their minds, they already know what the issue is, but it can't be. Tell me it's not. There's a lot of stuff.
Just read the manual. So this isn't the cheapest oil, but this is the one you use. 20 W50 with high zinc content.
Golf Classic.
Golf Classic.
It's the highest quality one we can get, you know, readily.
We're not paid by Golf in any way. It's not a paid promotion.
I've got to buy the stuff, so no.
Yep. And I've got to then pay you for it.
That's a good point.
I remember you saying you had a 944. You'd serviced it since new, and at 250,000 k's, you pulled the head
that's
off.
more. That's car. That car's got over 900,000 k's now. 900,000 k's.
And it's
We've never taken the pistons out. We've never taken the crankshaft out. We've had the head off, I think, over the last 900,000 k's twice, I think, maybe. You know, like head gasket type, that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Never changed the camshaft. Never changed the hydraulic lifters.
Wow.
Never changed the valves. He was using it as a work vehicle. The previous owner, Terry, has only had 2 owners. He was using it as a work vehicle. This thing was doing squillions of k's. Never had anything with 2050.
What model car?
It was an 83 944 Australian delivery. Still being driven on a daily basis today.
Manual or?
Oh, manual, yeah. Doesn't use any oil. Doesn't burn any oil. You can take the spark plugs out and they're still, you're like, wow. Original rings. We've never taken the pistons out. But of course, it's never been flogged. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that car didn't go to the track and got absolutely thrashed into the ground.
No.
Never did that. It just had sensible driving with oil changes every 10,000 k's. Oh, what a car. What a car.
This would be my daily. I could do this one. If I could afford the fuel.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
There's no getting away from the 17 litres per 100k that you're going to get. You know, you're not going to get 20 miles a gallon out of this car.
No way.
Oh, and a hill as well. We just went to 25 litres per 100k. All right, so that's it for today, folks. Thanks for watching inCARnation. Special guest host, Sean Buchanan.
See ya.
Okay, Shawnee, thanks, mate.
No worries, mate.
Love your work.
Drive well.
So thanks for watching inCARnation today. If you like 928 content, you might want to subscribe to the channel because there's an awful lot of it coming. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please share it with your motoring friends. And above all, click the little subscribe thing down here so you can see the latest videos when we bring them out, hopefully each week. I look forward to seeing you soon.